That's the hole that you're going into?
Yeah.
That's it?
It's not a joke. Okay.
Wow.
Let's do it.
All right.
Everyone who talks about As Above, So Below talks about Dante, the Nine Circles, the alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone, and they're all missing the point. This isn't a movie about hell. It's a movie about what breaks you before hell even gets a chance to. So I thought I would do something a little bit different this time. Let's treat this like a survival post-mortem. Not about what the symbols mean, not whether the alchemy checks out. Just one question. Who was actually built to survive this? And why everyone else broke? As Above, So Below dropped in 2014. And would you believe it? Critics hated it. 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was basically just buried. And then something fun happened. Netflix picked it up in 2018, and the audiences, like you and me, not the critics, resurrected it. Because this movie does something genuinely rare. It takes a familiar framework, the descent into hell, and removes the safety rails. The premise is simple. Scarlett Marlowe, a brilliant archaeologist, is chasing her dead father's obsession, the Philosopher's Stone. She's got a documentary crew, she's got her ex George, a translator, and she's got a lead that takes her into Paris's Catacombs. They pick up a guide named Papillon and his girlfriend Susie, their friend Zed, and they go down. What makes this film work is what happens when the catacombs start responding. The deeper they go into the catacombs, the more the environment stops being a place and starts becoming a mirror. And it's not the kind of mirror that shows you what you look like. It's the kind that shows you what you are. Here's where I'm going to break differently than any other analysis of this film. The catacombs are not hell. They're not a punishment chamber. They are a stress inoculation protocol. And here's what I mean by that. In survival psychology, there's a concept called stress exposure training. You introduce stress in controlled doses, disorientation, time pressure, incomplete information, and you watch how someone responds to it. Not to torture them, but to find the breaking point before the real thing finds it first. The catacombs operate the exact same way. Every room, every encounter, every supernatural event is targeting a specific psychological vulnerability. And the people who die aren't the ones who sinned the most. They're just the ones who couldn't confront what the catacombs showed them. This matters basically because it changes how you watch the movie. You stop asking, what does this symbolize? And instead start asking, what is the weakness that is being tested right now? And once you look at it that way, this film actually transforms in front of you. Scarlett is very fascinating because on paper, she should survive this thing, okay? She's the smartest person in the group. She knows multiple languages, archaeology, the alchemy. She solves puzzles that would break most people. So yeah, she should be able to survive this thing.
George! George!
What is it?
Looks. It's the Porta Alchemica. This is the door to the mystical.
And that's exactly why she nearly dies in this movie. And what I mean by that is that Scarlett basically treats the catacombs like an academic problem. Every supernatural event, she's looking for a reference, the historical precedent, the riddle to solve. And for the first half of this film, it works. She decodes the entrance, she finds the stone, and she heals Susie's wounds.
Swarovski.
Careful. Please hurry.
I'll be quick.
Scarlett, stop it. Come on.
I have to scan these markings. I'm not leaving.
You must leave. Now.
But here's the thing about real survival situations, is that your brain is not your friend. The more you intellectualize something, the slower you react, because decision fatigue is real, and I've seen it. As a designer of escape rooms, the overthinkers tend to do worse than those people who actually keep it simple. When you are processing a threat through an analytic lens, you add more steps between the stimulus and the response. And an environment that punishes hesitation, those steps will kill you.
Hello?
Scarlett's breaking point in this film is the hanged man, which is her father. The one person that she couldn't save through intellect alone. And the Catacombs knew exactly where to press. And it's not until she stopped analyzing and started feeling, confessing, apologizing, and accepting that she earns her way out and survives. But she barely survives. And not because she's smart, but because she finally stopped trying to be so smart. Benji is probably one of the more brutal deaths in this movie. We know Benji. Benji's the cameraman. He documents everything. And in every other horror movie, he'd be the comic relief. But here, he's a case study in something very specific, which is what happens when reality refuses to match your framework.
Come on, let's go!
Benji, you're gonna have to calm down, okay, Benji? Benji, just calm down, okay? Just breathe with me, please. It's okay.
Scarlett, guard. You gotta get out of the way.
Benji's job is simple, which is to record everything. The camera is his proof. And when the supernatural starts happening, he keeps the camera rolling because that's what he knows. But the Catacombs, it doesn't care about your coping mechanisms. His death is telling. He's killed by a spirit, a woman he apparently wronged. But the mechanism doesn't matter. What matters is that Benji couldn't process what was happening fast enough to act, and he froze in analysis. Does that sound familiar? The difference between Benji and Scarlett is that Scarlett eventually drops the framework. Benji, he never does. He dies clutching the camera, still trying to document the thing that's killing him. That's cognitive dissonance in its purest form. Reality is screaming at you, and you're still trying to fit it into a box that it won't fit into. Kind of like today's world that we live in. Papillon is the guide. He knows the Catacombs better than everybody. He's physically capable. He's decisive, but he dies anyway because the Catacombs doesn't test competence. They test trauma. Papillon's sin, I mean, if you want to call it that, is that he left someone behind. His friend who disappeared in these same tunnels, and the Catacombs brought his friend back. Not as a rescue, but as an accusation. And what's brutal about Papillon's death is that he doesn't die because he's weak. He dies because his guilt makes him hesitate at the exact moment he can't afford to. So the Catacombs weaponize his loyalty against him. And here's the survival lesson here. Past guilt is a liability in crisis. It doesn't matter if you were justified. It doesn't matter if you made the right call at the right time. You're still carrying it, and the environment will find it and use it against you. Papillon is the most tragic character in this film. He has the skills and he has the knowledge. He just couldn't outrun what he was carrying. Zed is the only character that most of the people that watch this film forget about. He's not the lead, and he's not even a love interest. He's Papillon's friend. He's quiet and observant, and he never really says a whole lot. He's the only person in this film who handles the Catacombs correctly from start to finish. Here's what Zed does differently. Number one, he doesn't overthink. When the environment shifts, he moves. No analysis, no bargaining, just action. Number two, he doesn't carry guilt the same way. He confesses at the end. He has a child he won't claim. But unlike Papillon, Zed's guilt doesn't own him. He acknowledges it and it keeps moving. And three, and this is the big one, is that Zed never treats the Catacombs as anything other than what they are. He doesn't try to solve them. He doesn't try to understand them. He just tries to survive them. And that's the difference between Zed and everyone else, is that he doesn't intellectualize the threat. He doesn't moralize it. He doesn't process it through guilt or ambition or academic curiosity. He just reads the environment and he responds. And in a survival situation, that is exactly what you need. You don't get to be the smartest person in the room. You don't even have to be the strongest person. The person who can see what's in front of them without a filter is the ones that normally survive. Zed, he deserved to escape, and not because he was innocent, but because he was honest. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. The Catacombs is a mirror, and the mirrors, they don't lie. They show you exactly what you're carrying. The question isn't whether you've made mistakes, because we all have. The question is whether you can look at those mistakes without flinching long enough to keep moving. I've spent years in environments where disorientation was the point. Zero visibility drills, navigation under stress, and people that broke weren't the ones that were the weakest. They were the ones who couldn't stop asking why. They needed the situation to make sense before they could act on it. And that's what As Above, So Below understands better than almost any other horror film that I've ever seen. The horror isn't the monsters, it's the horror about what the monsters reveal about you. Decision fatigue, sensory disorientation, the collapse of basic reasoning under sustained stress. These aren't fictional concepts. They're documented psychological phenomenon. The catacombs don't kill you. Your psychological blind spots kill you. The environment just reveals them. So here's the question for today. Would you survive the catacombs? Not whether you can solve the puzzles, but if you were put into a room with everything you've ever done wrong, everything that you've been carrying up to this point in your life, could you keep moving forward or would you freeze? Because that's the real test, and most people fail it.
There is always some weird people down here.
You're not kidding.
If you like this video, then do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. If you like it even more, then do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you can get all of your horror reviews, recommendations, and topics just like this one. So until next time, check out my other videos. But more importantly, don't get too scared. Take care, guys.